All right. All right. Well, good morning, ladies, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Spirit Meetup Group. My name is Liz Garcia. I am founder of the mindbodyspiritnetwork.com, and I'm also a student of consciousness. And I love to discuss topics of understanding levels of consciousness so that we can have a much more lovely experience in life. When you understand where you're at, you know where you can go from there. So today's presentation is called Discovering the True Power of the Heart. And I want to share with you some experiences that I've had and the technique, the very simple technique that I use to enjoy these experiences on a daily basis when I remember to apply this simple technique. And does everyone here, I was wondering why, well, there's a lot of people I invited into this, so that's okay, but I don't need to ask that question. So I did invite in 3 of our Mind, Body, Spirit Network healers to be a part of this. And they're going to, Cheryl Murphy is going to open this group with a healing meditation. And then Ms. Linda Armstrong is going to help us kind of download the truth of the power of the heart and maybe get rid of any beliefs that are residing energetically within us that would deny that power, which is powerful stuff. She's a certified theta healer. Linda, are you going to use gate healing as well, or just really a theta healing technique? And you're on mute. Hold on.
I'll use theta today. Can you hear me better? I've been playing with my
mic. Better. Yeah, okay. And then Deborah is going to guide us on this heart meditation that I am speaking of. So maybe we should begin with Cheryl's meditation to kind of, this is what Cheryl uses in her healing prayer group. And it really sets the tone for what we're going to experience and allow into our consciousness, right?
Hi, everyone, and it will just be a few moments. So if you don't mind, you may either sit with your eyes closed or you may open them. It's whatever's comfortable for you. But what I want to do with everyone is just to take a nice deep breath in and breathing in love and joy. And on the exhale, just breathe out gratitude for today. And on the next deep inhale, breathe in compassion this time, breathing in compassion. And exhaling, releasing anything we don't need right now. It's all good. And I want you to imagine a beautiful ball of golden light, right on the tops of our heads, right in that 7th chakra, that beautiful healing golden light. And as it comes down over the tops of our heads, we can feel the forehead loosen and soften, feeling the opening of our auric field, having it come down to our eyes, letting our cheeks soften and relax, naturally breathing in and out, bringing that golden ball of light down to our jaws, letting that jaw ever soften, feeling it coming down into the neck and the shoulders now, letting those shoulders drop. That's great. And naturally breathing in and out, we're continuing drawing that golden ball of light down to our chest area where we feel it in our upper back and middle back. That golden healing light is filling our arms, going all the way down to our fingertips, filling our body completely. Bringing that golden ball of light down to the abdomen area and letting it settle in the hips just for a moment while those hips loosen. You may even feel yourself rock your hips back and forth for a moment. And we continue bringing that golden ball of light down to the thighs and the knees, the shins and the calves, bringing it down to our feet area, out the bottoms of our feet, naturally going down into the earth where we're sending all of that beautiful divine energy, blessing Mother Earth for today's meeting. And I want you to imagine now out the right side of your body, a golden ribbon of light going all the way around this circle for everyone in this circle today. We're opening up our circle, opening up our energy. So it goes outside the right side of your body, all the way around, connecting to your left. And then imagine another golden light of healing and love going out the left side of your body, going all the way around for everyone in the circle, and coming back to your right. As we sit together in this meeting today, we open up our energies and our hearts, and we are opening this circle today for all the most appropriate and highest energy to come. So we're so grateful for this meeting today. And the circle is open. When you're ready, you may gently open your eyes. Okay. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you, Cheryl. That voice of an angel there. All right. So I'm going to describe why I wanted to share this today, and then we're going to have Linda help with this. So after we go through Deborah's meditation, I'm going to introduce some hard facts about the power of love and the power of the heart, because the mind likes to get in the way. And lesser parts of us think we know it all. And when there's proof contrary to that, it kind of helps to open up the possibility that maybe we don't know it all, and that there's other things that you wouldn't expect to be true. Well, you would, but you don't believe it yet. So we're going to talk about that. But the simple technique I'm going to share today, I discovered through a website called heartmath.org. And it's a very simple tool that I use every day if I'm going to go to a networking group, have a meeting like this, which I didn't do today, hence maybe the problem with the internet and all that. And, I'm alone a lot, so when I go into a big group, I use this technique, and I'm astounded by, whoa, the effect it has on my experience of whatever I'm doing. I'm like, whoa, that's big. So it's simply this, and my sister taught me this technique. I do this hand mudra. And I think it's just called chin mudra. Super simple. And I do it with both hands. So you can't see both. And I just hold them upright, like receiving mode. And my sister has always said, do this and then heart link to the angels. I'm like, oh, cool, I'll heart link to the angels. Because I happen to know in my study of consciousness that the angel frequency is of a high vibration. And it calibrates at 540 on the map of consciousness. And we'll get to that later. So I heart link to a high vibration. I'm like, you don't need to guess. Like, I'm going to heart link to the angels. They got it going on. And then I simply close my eyes and I breathe into my heart center. So I get out of my head and I bring my attention to the heart. And I focus right on the physical heart. Like, I imagine that physical heart beating. And then I imagine sort of the green chakra glow around that physical heart. And I breathe in and out. And after I start getting into that peaceful space where I'm breathing into the heart, then I think of something I really love. And Deborah is going to take us through this meditation, so we're not going to do it right now, but I just want to tell you, I think of something that I really love. And when I first started doing this, I've had some difficult experiences where I couldn't love much. The only thing I could love was babies, because I know their innocence and their true nature, and they are straight from the source, and they know what's going on. If they could speak when they're born, that would be awesome. But they don't. So I think of something that I love. And then the other thing that really helped me is I love my dogs who are wandering around here. They're easy to love. And I just start thinking of them and thankful for them. And I remember everything about them that I love, as simple as it is. Like, I love it when Dancer drinks his water because his whole body shit. He's just gulp, gulp, gulp with that beautiful little body of his. And I love it when Edie goes and rolls all on her back in the front of a stranger to get her belly rubbed. And I just, something that's easy to love, that's the best place to start. And I do it for maybe a minute. That's it. And then I'll go to a networking meeting and I'll have this significant experience of everything going well. I'm like, people coming up to me, like flooding to me like a moth to a flame. Like, what's going on here? And then I remember after the fact, because I'm busy, when you're in this higher state, you forget about what you did to get there because you're just enjoying the space. And every time I do this, I notice this. I'm like, whoa, look at that. And the power of the heart is going out and affecting everything around me, which is pretty cool. And we can all do this. So this is why I want to introduce this. And then we're going to talk about the science of the power of the heart too, because you may not believe me. You know, you can consciously believe me, but deep down you're like, only you, Liz, not me. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll show you. All right. So Linda is now going to help us, and she's going to use a little of her theta healing so that what we discussed today can feel more true, hopefully. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. You can believe whatever you like, and that's perfect. So Linda,
All right,
ramp up, girl.
So can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because when I get into this mode and I start channeling the energy, I know my voice softens. I'm going to try to keep it high. As high as that vibration that we'll be in, which is this energy of love. But I wanted to just say something that I do all the time, because I know that you create from that energy of love. All things are possible. I did heal my rotator cuff through sending that energy of love just right to it. I did it within 2 months. I couldn't lift my arm. After those 2 months were over, and gradually during the time, I could lift it until I had full mobility of my arm, my shoulder. So that energy heals everything, and it makes everything flow so much smoother, like Liz was just explaining. So something I like to do, and I'll just add this because it's so easy to do, and it doesn't cost a penny, and you can keep yourself in that energy of love all the time. I send love to everything I pass by. I send love to strangers. I just send the love because the energy just moves. It's instant. It's that feeling can just be sent, and then it's up to that person to receive it or not. You have no control over that. But you can be in that energy by sending it. So whatever it takes to get you there to feel it, like Liz was just explaining, that's your thing. You find your way to be in that energy, be in your heart, and just send it. I like to say love, love, love 3 times as I send it, and that's my thing. So you can find your own way to do it. Anyway, that's a side note. I didn't even think of talking about that. But what I want to do today, and I kind of made myself a little bit of a guideline because I know I can start talking and then go off. I have a limited amount of time, right, Liz? So what I want to do is just to clear the energy and beliefs that prevent you from knowing that love is the truth. That love is energy that heals all and that brings people together. And when you can be gentle with yourself without beating yourself up, you can come from love. And from that energy, all things are possible. So it's really important not to pay attention to what you tell yourself, the unkind words you tell yourself, because you're soaking that in and it's going into every single cell of your body. This is our vehicle we travel the earth with, right? So we want to be kind and loving to it, our physical body, as well as us, our spirit, and blending the two together. So anyway, see, I'm already going off of my thing. So I had a few questions that I wanted you to just contemplate, right? To just look at, to really kind of look at, maybe not now, maybe later, but do you believe that love is truth? That love is a powerful force that can heal and create anything? I mean, really believe it, not just think that it's a great idea, but like to believe it, to feel it within your body. Another one, do you love yourself? Do you love yourself? Think about that, right? Are you lovable? Are you worthy of love? Do you deserve love? So I ask because if you don't love yourself, how can you expect anyone else to love you, right? It's all energy. The energy that you hold, the energy you project, is the energy that you will receive. It's just the way it is. This is universal law. This is law of attraction. There's no 2 ways around it. So if you're sending out junky energy, be prepared to receive junky experience. Okay, that's just it. So anyway, love is the highest energy that there is. Love, appreciation, gratitude, joy. They're very high vibrational frequencies, and everything that exists is energy. From your computer, your body, your house, the trees, crystals, it's all energy. It's all little particles of energy. And so energy never stays the same, and it's always evolving, always changing. So that's another reason to really monitor your energy. And that's why I want to work with giving you downloads and things that you may be missing or lacking so that you can hold that energy within your body. And we'll get to that. Let me see what else I wanted to say here. Yeah, so to create good things in your life, you need to come from that energy of love, right? If you're stuck in fear, you know, what good comes from that? You can only bring in a whole bunch of not so good stuff, right? Fear can't bring good into your life. Only love can do that. So we really want to work with that energy of love. I mean, that should be your job, working with love, through love. And everyone here on this call, I know, works through love, because we wouldn't all be here. You know, energy comes together. It's like energy. I mean, my website is called lovemylife.coach, because it all comes down to love. Love is that energy that you manifest from, or should I say that you can love your living your life from, right? And we can go deeper into that, but we will not, maybe another webinar some other time.
Yes, we'll have more.
Yeah. So when you can be gentle with yourself without beating yourself up, you can come from love. And then in that energy, all things are possible. So I have some downloads that I would like to give to you. This is energy and ways of being that you might not hold in your energetic system. So they're being downloaded to you from Creator, you know, that source energy, God, Spirit, whatever you name that energy that is, that we are actually all a part of, that is bigger than us and that can really support you in your life. That is going to be flowing through me with each of the different statements that I send to you. But you have to agree to receiving these. So when I'll say, would you like to know what it feels like to blah, 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 blah. You need to say yes, because we all have free will. So there's nothing I can do or say that will make any difference unless you accept it. And if there's something about what I say that you don't like, then just pass on that one. I doubt that you will, but you have that option, right? Okay, because you have free will. So if you're ready, everybody ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so just close your eyes and sit comfortably, taking in a nice, easy, slow breath and letting it out. And Cheryl already got us into that space, which is just so perfect. I'm getting goosebumps as I think about it. So take a nice, easy breath, relaxing your body, getting ready to receive this healing energy that is wanting to come through to you today. And just taking in another deep breath, in through your nose, out through your mouth. And one more deep cleansing healing breath in, only this time hold it for 6 seconds. And then just let it all the way out. Just feeling yourself becoming centered, connected to that deepest part of your being, and ready for these downloads and healings to come in. And so all of what I will be doing is being downloaded into every single cell of your body in the highest and best way for you. On all planes of existence, through all time, space, and reality, and across all 4 belief levels, the core, the history, ancestral, and the soul. So we're just going to take this in, each and every one of them. And you may feel sensations as we do this work, mostly pleasant, as the healing energy comes in, and some not so pleasant as the lower energy leaves your body. You may experience tears, yawns, burps, hot, cold, etc. You may not even feel or notice anything, but the energy is coming through as long as you allow it. So we'll just set it and let it flow and let it release whatever is not serving you and just absorb all of the good that wants to come through. And so would you like to release all beliefs, vows, oaths, and decisions that prevent or forbid you to receive healing energy? If so, say yes.
Yes.
And would you like to know that this energy work that we are doing now is real and that you are ready for it? And that it will create a shift in your energy that will allow you to create even more love in your life. And for those who are viewing this, who were not on the live call, the energy is still there for you. So all you need to do is agree to each of the downloads and they're yours. Would you like the Creator's definition and perspective of love? To know that you can find love at any moment in your life, that it is possible for you to feel love for yourself, and allow others to love you. So if you want that, just say yes. Would you like to know what it feels like to truly believe that love is truth? That love is a powerful force that can heal and create anything. And would you like to know what it feels like to manifest your goals and desires through the energy of love? How to do this in your day-to-day life, and that it is possible for you to create through the energy of love. Would you like to know what it feels like to accept yourself 100% for exactly who you are? Would you like to know what it feels like to be open to receive love, to know that you are deserving of love, and that it is safe for you to be loved? And would you like to know what it feels like to love yourself unconditionally? Would you like to release any vows, oaths, or decisions you have made throughout your entire existence that prevents or forbids you to receive love and to take it in? I just get a big smile on my face as this energy flows. Would you like to cancel and release all the energetic, mental, and emotional ties and cords that connect between you and all of the times when you have felt unloved? Just letting it all go. And would you like to receive unconditional love from the Creator from the time of your conception as that baby in the womb on forward to this very day and into the future? Just receiving that unconditional love from the Creator, taking it into every single cell of your body in the highest and best way for you throughout all time, space, reality, on all 7 planes of existence. Would you like to release the limiting beliefs that prevent you from truly experiencing love in your day-to-day life, to transform these beliefs to knowing that you are love, that you are deserving of love, and that you are worthy of love? If so, say yes. Would you like to know what it feels like to break down the wall of fear around your heart and allow yourself to receive love once again, to take it in fully into your whole entire system? That feels good. Would you like to know that with love, all things are possible? That the energy of love is the highest energy there is, and that it is always available to you. Would you like to receive a healing from the Creator right now so that you can allow love in and experience love in your day-to-day life? And now just sit with your eyes closed, just allowing the energy to be healed and transformed. Just noticing any sensations within your body, feeling that love as it sits in your heart center and it travels into every single cell of your body, changing your very DNA. You can even just imagine it's like this seed of light, and you just planted it right there in your heart center. And that light just starts to grow and emanate. And all these lines of light are going out to all the different parts of your body, all the different organs, every single cell, throughout your whole entire energy system. And just allowing that love, knowing that that seed of light is in your heart. It has always been there, and it always will be. And when you're ready, gently and easily, don't force it, just on your own time, allow yourself to come back into this space, eyes open, maybe just wiggling fingers and toes, stretching a little bit, taking a nice deep breath, and allowing all of that to just do its thing. That's it.
Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
You definitely hit a chord there for me. I got all, I'm like, okay, there's one. One of those are like, oh, yes, that belief is still there. Not a good one, but
Let it go.
Letting it go. Cool. Thank you, my dear. So Linda does some pretty awesome work in helping you determine what those core beliefs are that are getting in your way. And I did some work with her just to, get to know her better. And it was really astounding how she helps you. Your body will tell you what your truth is, what your beliefs are. It's not necessarily true, but the body will say, you believe something else. I hate to tell you. So Linda does great work in identifying what those beliefs are and then helping you get rid of them. We're calling her the core belief buster. I love that. Yeah. All right. So we're going to get into more good stuff, but Deborah is up next, and she's going to lead us on a heart meditation so that when you leave today, you should feel good. That's for sure. So Deborah?
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Really grateful for the opportunity to participate in this event, and I'm excited to share the power we will open up with the heart math exercise. So before we would begin, earlier Liz told us about a mantra that she uses, and I wanted to introduce a not a mantra, I'm sorry, a mudra, which is, the hand gesture that we use during this exercise, and it's used during yoga, and it literally means seal or closure in Sanskrit. So when you utilize a mudra, the hand gestures are utilized to direct the flow of energy within the body using our hands. And what we're going to be using today is the Tarjani mudra. And this mudra awakens the qualities of the subtle heart, including compassion and unconditional love. So we'll go ahead and I'll lead you and show you how to create this mudra. So I guess first thing I'll do is ask you to put your hands up like this. And just close your hands and leave these two fingers up. So then after you do that, we're going to come together and join these together. And then move that down to your solar plexus, which is going to be in between your belly button and your chest area. So relax your shoulders. Keep your arms, your forearms parallel to the earth and your spine naturally aligned. Once you feel comfortable in this mudra, go ahead and close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths at your own speed. And as you continue to hold the mudra, take several natural breaths and focus on the feelings and sensations that have been awakened by this gesture. Allow the natural rhythm of expansion and release to create a space where you deepen your sensitivity to your heart's essential qualities. Rest. Rest in awareness. Rest in being. And now focus your attention in the area of your heart and imagine your breath flowing in and out of your heart. This is heart-focused breathing. So in and out. Breathe a little slower and deeper than usual. Next, we will activate a positive feeling. Make a sincere attempt to experience a positive or transformative feeling, such as an appreciation or care for someone or something in your life. Liz gave an example earlier that she used with her puppies. Mine is my mother who loved me unconditionally in every moment of her life. Let the feeling flow and grow through your heart. So follow me with your intention. Focus on something or someone you love. Focus on something or someone you love. What are the characteristics that you love about this person or thing? What are the characteristics that you love about this person or thing? Feel the appreciation in your heart and expand that appreciation in your heart now. Feel the appreciation in your heart and expand the appreciation in your heart now. Rest and bask in that feeling. Feel the expansion of the feeling with each breath. Feel it growing in your heart as you focus that positive energy, that positive feeling, that love in and out of your heart. Rest. Rest in awareness. Rest in existence. Rest in being. Return to your normal breath. Bring awareness back into your body. When you're ready, gently float your eyes open. Put your hands together into your chest and bow to acknowledge your fellow meditators. Namaste.
Thank you, Deborah. What was that little ringing at the end? Was that you?
Yeah.
That's so. I can tell. I thought it was you, but I'm like, oh, good stuff. All right. I think we're all in a good space now to really take in the science of truth. All right. So, Deborah, I was listening to your free guided meditation yesterday while I was sitting at my desk. Like I just kept replaying it because that voice, woman, puts me in.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, all right, we're going to get started. And I'm going to share links to all of our co-hosts today so that you guys can connect with them, especially people that are watching this on YouTube or Facebook or something. I will share all of their information because all of them have really special things to offer everybody. Or not everybody, but, whoever is right. All right. So I'm going to share my screen because we actually have a slideshow. It's kind of like an oxymoron to have a slideshow, but we're going to have one on the power of the heart. All right. So if you guys have any questions along the way, just like wave or take yourself off mute and say, hey, wait a minute. Feel free to ask questions. It makes it more interesting. All righty. Who likes that picture I found for that? Kind of fun, huh? All right, let me see if I can get this thing going. And here's my lovely co-host. And Marie, this is what you can look forward to. This is kind of my little signature way of presenting everybody with their headshot and a cool background that just comes to me. Then I'm like, this works. All right. Thank you, my lovely co-host. And I found this guy. Oh, my God. Does he speak of the heart or what? He's like, if I was a little younger, he'd be my cup of tea. All right. So we're going to talk about the power of the heart, and I want to put it into context. And I'm going to do that by discussing the science of the heart and the map of consciousness. So there are people that study the science of truth and levels of consciousness. And they've been studied for this particular gentleman that I read. His name is Dr. David R. Hawkins, and he wrote Power versus Force and Truth versus Falsehood, and many other books on higher states of consciousness. And he is an enlightened being. And enlightenment is more than just feel good. It's a much greater awareness. So we're going to talk about the map of consciousness so you can figure out where you are on the map of consciousness in regards to a particular issue, for example. And when you understand where you are on a particular issue, especially about how you feel about yourself, you'll think, okay, maybe I need to change that, unless you already feel good about yourself. This is just, let's see where you're at and how much power do you have to create and manifest in your life. And then we'll see where you're hanging out. So this science was studied for over 20 years. There's been millions of calibrations on thousands of people. So this is how this information has been derived. And the map of consciousness is on a scale of 0 to 1,000. 0 is the lowest. It's essentially non-existence. There's no life there at 0. And the highest is the highest state anyone can be, the highest level of consciousness anyone can be in and still be in the body. You get any higher than that, you're like, I'm out of here. And even up in the 700s, people are already like, they don't need to be in the body anymore because they understand, have a different awareness. And it's amazing. Amazing grace, for sure. Beyond amazing grace. So here's the levels of consciousness and how they are put in two different categories. The lower levels are negatively oriented, downward pulling, and destructive. So if you're hanging out in anger, pride, desire, fear, grief, any of these lower frequencies, these are shadow frequencies, you can't stay there and solve your problem. You can't continue to be angry about something to get out of there unless you were in a lower frequency, unless you were already in fear and grief. So if you were in fear about something and now you're angry about it, that's a good thing because you're moving up the scale of consciousness. And I know that Esther and Abraham talk about the scale of emotions. There's a lot of power to go from fear to desire. And I meant to tell you that the map of consciousness is a logarithm. So shame is 10 to the 20th power. Pride is 10 to the 175th power. Love is 10 to the 500th power. So if you know logarithms, that's 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 to whatever power it is. So this is not like a simple, you're going from 20 to 30. You're going from 10 to the 20th to 10 to the 30th. So that's the power. It's huge. And Dr. David Hawkins says that most of us hang out at the same level of consciousness our whole lives. We come in at a certain rate, and we maybe go up 5 points on the map of consciousness. And if we understand that it's a logarithmic thing, even 1/10 of a point on the map of consciousness can be life-changing. So it's significant. Any type of movement on this map is significant. But if you're moving from grief up to fear, desire, anger, that's all good because you got more power. However, you don't want to hang out there for long. You really need to get into this positively oriented energy field, which starts at 200, and that starts at courage. And we're not going to go into all of these because today's about love. But I found the easiest way for me to get out of these lower frequencies, and if you find yourself in it, we're all a mixed bag of consciousness. We're not all of lower, we're all a mixed bag. So some things we're high on, we're loving to others or, our pets, we're really high on that. And then we have negative things about ourselves. Any type of judgment against ourselves, you're pulling yourself down here. And a good analogy on this side, on the negatively pulling, it's pretty powerfully negatively pulling when you're hanging out here. It's difficult to get yourself out of it without someone or something on this side pulling you out of it. That's why inspirational people, you want to watch them. That's why you're drawn to them. They're helping you pull out of this downward. This is like a toilet bowl here. This is what I call it. You get in that whirlpool. How the heck are you going to turn it around? It's a little challenging. So it doesn't have to be, but that's most humanity's experience, I believe, because we don't know any better. All right. So let me try to move forward on this slide, and it's not moving forward. Okay. So relatively speaking, this is a little depressing, but I don't want you to get depressed because everything's perfect. 85% of the people on the planet calibrate below 200, which is all negatively oriented. But don't worry about that. That's not your concern. It's not anyone's concern, because people at the highest level of consciousness all say the same thing. Their perspective is that everything is perfect. And I remember that. When you think everything isn't perfect, the highest truth is that it is. And that we're here to experience this and evolve and grow and have this contrast that life is. 50% of the people in the U.S. calibrate above 200. So that's, encouraging. There's no wonder that we're a powerful nation, because our consciousness level is higher than almost all nations. Canada and Australia are pretty high too. They're up there. And it was only in 1986 or 7, I believe, that the consciousness level of the planet went above 200. It made a significant leap. So something happened there. That's a huge shift in consciousness for the planet when you understand that it's logarithmic, like holy moly. And Hawkins has attested that, to move 1/10 of a point is significant. Never mind 15 points on the map of consciousness, the whole planet shifts. So that's a good thing. Here's some more things by the number. One individual that calibrates at 200 can counterbalance the negativity of 90,000 people below 200. And that's a lot. That's powerful. To be easygoing, happy-go-lucky, you're really offsetting a lot of negativity. One individual at 400 counterbalances 400,000. So when you start to look at that and you say, okay, where am I at? You can kind of guess, where am I at? Although it's kind of hard too, because you got to take a look at those lower you got to be willing to look at the shadow of you and see where you're at there, and not just the, Susie Sunshine side of you, but because those two are counterbalancing each other. So when you realize that if you work on yourself to improve your level of consciousness, you can make a huge impact on the planet. Huge. Do not give your attention to garbage. Doesn't matter what the news said, doesn't matter what's going on. That when you put your attention on that, you're bringing yourself down the toilet bowl. When you can stay focused on lovingness and what you're doing in every day of your life, you're way more powerful than everything else that's going on. And that's how you can help. This is why Gandhi says, be the change. Be present and loving, and you're hugely powerful. And I'm telling you now, you are. If you can raise your level of consciousness to 300 to 400, that's a huge leap, first of all, but it's not, when you understand, we'll have other webinars, like this, where we'll go deeper. Today's just about the heart. But when you focus on yourself, being loving and unraveling the negativity you got running about yourself, you can make a giant leap, and you're contributing to the world in a huge way. You could move into, a big city and offset the negativity of an entire city. How cool is that? Like, Wonder Woman, woo, all right? One individual at 500 counterbalances 750,000 people. At 600, you're up to counterbalancing 10 million. Look at that leap. That's huge. This is serious power. And these are not people that are out, running for president necessarily. They're powerful. People that are running for president are powerful. They're powerful in a different way. These people in the 500s and 600s, they're not necessarily out there in the public. They're just being who they are and offsetting this that's going on the planet. 700. This is Mahatma Gandhi and Mother Teresa, calibrated in the 700s. That's why she was hanging out in India. She's offsetting the negativity of India. 70 million people. There's a billion there, so she moved around a lot. So it's pretty interesting to realize When you get out of negativity and you get over that, you let go of the negativity within yourself, you have a tremendous power to help the planet, and your experience in life will change. Like lovingness, it's fun. And you'll hear lovingness begets lovingness. I used to say, nah, what are you talking about? I don't believe you. Until I started to experience it. And the more I love, it's easy and it's fun. And it comes out naturally. Like, I love you, no problem. It's fun. Okay. The great avatars throughout history, they have calibrated at 1,000 on the map of consciousness. That would be Buddha, Jesus Christ, Lord Krishna, there's a bunch of others. And David Hawkins would not say that he was of this level, but he was of a very high level. And I know it because I've experienced high levels of consciousness, and he's the one who helped me understand what I was going through. So, and he passed like 4 years ago, but he is of extremely high consciousness, and he's part of this. He helped bring to light this map of consciousness. So this is pretty astounding, this next little fact here. There were, or are, I forget, the writing of his book was around 1986, and at the time, he can calibrate the truth of how many people on the planet calibrate at 700 or above. And at the time, there were 12 people on the planet that calibrated at 700, which is phenomenally high. And I think that was like, they offset the negativity of 70 million people, was it? 70 million people. That's a lot. It's a lot of negativity to take on. It's not like they're taking it on, though. They're just being present with this high frequency of love. They're having a good time. Nothing's really bothering them. Okay. 12 individuals at the map of conscious level of 700 equals one avatar at 1,000. That's huge. Like, holy moly. One great avatar can, in fact, totally counterbalance the negativity of all mankind. Holy bleep. That's huge. And when I was going through a very difficult time, I came across Hawkins' books. And in one part of the book, he said, there were 22 people on the planet that calibrated above 600. And it made me cry when I read this, because he said, this is the highest number it's ever been in history. So there's more than hope going on here. When there's, 20 people above 600 on the planet is significant and huge and powerful. And a lot of people think, we're getting worse, our consciousness is getting worse. No, we're all evolving still. It's just not necessarily at the pace, we want it to. All right? So I want to just go back to these. And pride is a subtle one, let me tell you. I didn't realize pride was negatively oriented until I read about it. And pride is perfectionism, having to be right, having to control everything. Righteousness is another word for it. Vanity. And when you get over pride, pride is subtle. I've noticed it. I'm like, oh, well, look at him, and then you recognize what you're being, and then you're like, okay, how do I get out of this? And I found to get out of the negative things for me, if I'm negatively oriented in my thoughts or emotions, I bring myself to neutral. Neutral's easy for me. Like, don't have a position on anything if you're feeling negatively oriented. And by not having a position on a negative feeling or emotion you're having, just kind of be with it. Stop the judging. Allow the feeling. Just don't judge it. Just allow it to kind of run its course and be neutral about it. You've jumped. There's a ton of power in being neutral. And I'd like to tell all these, politician people, and all the news people that are involved in being negatively oriented about everybody. I'm like, they're not going to win the race that way. You're much better off being neutral about anything. And I noticed when I got out of, I felt myself shift out of these lower frequencies. And when you shift out of it, your experience is very different. You don't care about that stuff anymore. You don't have to be right at all. And then when I getting into being neutral or willing and accepting, you realize you've got to look at other people and like they have so much going on in their lives that you know nothing about. Who are you to judge them? You know, you don't want someone to judge you because you've gone through stuff in your life. It's like, you got to learn to let it go. And neutral courage is fantastic if you can get into courage. And for me, neutrality is easy because I let go of having to be right or having to be perfect. You know, I still have perfectionism running, but I realize it's like a hamster on a wheel. When you're kind of spinning around in those lower frequencies, you can't manifest what you want because you're still downward. You're going down. You're not coming up. So step into neutrality, willingness, and acceptance. Those are good places to be and to remember these. And they're hugely powerful, like I just showed you. This is not like 1 + 1 is 2. We're talking 10 to the 200th power, 10 to the 250th power. It's huge to step into these frequencies. And when you do, all that lower stuff becomes meaningless. And the need to succeed and have money and whatever, have all the things that you want goes away. It's like, oh, I'm good. You stop wanting. You still appreciate, and I have much more appreciation now. It took me a while to learn to appreciate again. And that heart math thing has helped me tremendously in that I love more than just my dogs now. I love way more than just my dogs. So be patient with yourself. If you don't should all over yourself if you can't bring yourself to love someone you think you should love. Don't go there. Stay with where it's easy to love. And that's what I did. I realized, you know what, babies, I can love them. Because I had harsh experiences that tainted me. And I knew I had to start somewhere with loving. So I started with the babies and then the dogs. And now I love Deborah and Cheryl and Linda and Marie. No problem. I love all of you. Like it's a layup. People I don't know, I find myself loving them. So any questions so far on the levels of consciousness, you guys? Anyone, you can put your hand up or we're all good. Marie, yep, let me unmute you there, lady. Or you can unmute, there you go. Go ahead, Marie.
I wanted to just ask you, what did he use for measuring? Did he have like a machine? He went around the world measuring people?
Have you heard of applied kinesiology and muscle testing?
Yeah.
That's what he used.
Okay.
Linda uses that in her work as well to help test the truth of things. That's a whole other discussion, but I'll share his book so you can learn about it there. I still don't trust myself to test myself on that, but doing it with Linda, I did trust what was happening because the body was telling me the way we did it was like pretty compelling. I'm like, okay, that's interesting because a lot of what my body was telling me was something I thought was not true. And I thought my belief was other than what the body was telling me. So I'm like, oh, crap. So I'm all about the truth now. I'm like, you know what? If we can test the truth, why go anywhere else? All right. So love calibrates at 500. That's super powerful. That's 10 to the 500th power. I really want to get this across, you guys. This is logarithmic, not like 1 + 1 is 2. All right? Because that map, you look at it, you think that. You're like, oh, all right. Is everyone getting that? How the power? All right. We're not messing around with, All right, so I had experiences in life that were phenomenal. I've experienced very high consciousness levels. And I know that I have because I read about them. I read about what is going on at these levels, and that's how I came across Dr. Hawkins. Thank God I came across him. It was an answer to my prayer. But I came across these high levels of consciousness not ready for it. And I was like, they're phenomenal. They're not of this world, clearly, yet. It still is of this world, but most of us don't experience it. So when we come across it, we're like dumbfounded and like, holy moly, you can't even, there's no way to describe the beauty and the love and the joy that exists at these high levels. But I also experienced like a pendulum swing to extremely low levels that are not of this world either. So that experience kind of tainted, it traumatized me in a big way. And I don't know my point here, but so before, when I was going through this experience, I had the experience that, holy moly, you cannot get through the gates of heaven without going through hell. That was my experience. I'm like, there's no way anyone's going to go here if this horrendous stuff is in the way of it. And I think that came to me as that's what's in mass consciousness. All right, there's a bunch of fear-based garbage that a lot of religions and ridiculous things will guilt you into fear and shame and all this stuff so that you can't get into the gates of heaven without going through hell, which is what I experienced. But then I realized that was just an experience, and I realized when you get into high levels of consciousness, Dr. Hawkins mentions that when you get up to high levels, you will confront the negativity of mass consciousness, and that's what I did. You don't want to do that. I don't recommend it. It's extremely horrific. And that's why I had this, I had this feeling like I didn't trust love until I found Hawkins' books. When I found his books, I realized that those shadow frequencies could not hold a candle to me. And that's how I got over it. I still have residual stuff going on. I can feel it because I'm, wanting to cry here. But there's still residual trauma from a lot of things I've experienced. So anyway, love conquers all. And when I found that, I'm like, oh, forget those lower frequencies. They could kill me, but it doesn't matter. All right. So only less than 0.5% of the world's population ever reaches this level of consciousness, which is not to say that you can't. All right. We're an evolving planet. But, when I tell you this experience is not of this world, this is why. No one's used to it. I wasn't used to it. I'm like, oh my God, it's heaven on earth. It's grace. It's divinity. It's the presence of something you can't imagine. So, but you can reach out to this level and you can start feeling it. And you can start realizing that if you go to love, it's a huge healer. Unconditional love is another level. So as love becomes more and more unconditional, it begins to be experienced as joy. And joy on the map of consciousness is 540. And it's also a hallmark of compassion. I have experienced this joy. Again, it is not of this world. It's awesome. And I invite you to welcome it into your heart. All right. This is the domain of saints, advanced spiritual students, and healers. So, which all of us are healers here. All of us have this frequency running through us, so you wouldn't be hanging out with me here today. So we have a lot of chakra people. And I want to introduce the different powers of the chakra, which I found really interesting. The root is at 200. So all the chakras are positively oriented and powerful. The heart is clearly in the 500s. That's where love is. That love calibrates at 500. The heart chakra is 505. It's right there. The crown is 600, and the throat, those are on the third eye. Those three are pretty high, up in the 500s. And I didn't put this in the slideshow, but I wanted to let you know the body calibrates at around somewhere in the 200s, 200 to 250. I forgot to look that up. So the body is positively oriented. It calibrates in the 200s. The mind calibrates at 400. The spirit, the domain of spirit is 500 and above. Okay, so no wonder the Buddha says, what you hold in mind, you are creating. You're going to tell your body, I don't love you. You're too fat. You're not good enough. Guess what? The mind trumps the body. The body listens to you. use the power of the mind to tell the body something different. Love on that body. Transform that body. Forget about all mass consciousness beliefs about aging, health, gluten-free. It's garbage. It's all made up. Certainly you can suffer from whatever, whatever it is you want to suffer from, but Hawkins has cured himself of every one of those types of beliefs, and he had like 22 serious illnesses. He reversed all of them with a particular technique that he uses, but a lot of it has to do with what you're telling yourself. Stop telling yourself crap. That mind is freaking powerful. And then when you even go above the mind and use the love of the heart, that's even more powerful. Right, Linda? All right? Use that heart. A great way to open the heart chakra is through journaling. I discovered this when I had this massive spiritual awakening. I started journaling like a fiend, and I didn't know why, but I was having a good time. And I realized later, years later, that it was the heart opening. When you start journaling, you're opening the heart. That's a great practice to open the heart. Another great thing, powerful mudra for opening the heart is this, the prayer hands. And I forgot to add this in here. Holding these prayer hands calibrates at 540. So if you want to set intentions, Dr. Hawkins didn't go through calibrating all the mudras and sharing that in his book, but I know they're powerful. I can feel it when I use them. But I know this particular one, the prayer hands, calibrates at 540. That's a huge little boost to whatever your intentions are. Okay? And when you utilize the power of the heart, you become a channel of grace and beauty in the world. And I promise you this is true. I see it, I experience it. And Hawkins likes to let you know that you're just the channel. It's not you. You can take ownership of it if you want. But as you get into higher frequencies, you realize it is not you. It's love and grace and all that is coming through you. So if you find yourself, taking credit for magnificent things, then you're not necessarily in the higher consciousness. You're still in a lower frequency, but it's okay. You're appreciating what you're doing or whatever. But so I wanted to share some true stories of grace. Hawkins has two to share. I have one, and I've met another woman who is of a higher consciousness who had similar stories. Now, you may not experience this because you're not of these, you haven't experienced these super high frequencies. And this is where you will, at higher frequencies, you'll experience this. But just because you're not perceiving what's going on, it doesn't mean it isn't happening. That was my experience. It's like when I I use my little heart meditation that we learned today. I don't experience it at this level that I'm going to describe to you now, but I still experience it because I'm perceiving differently. I'm noticing how everyone is like, something's going on where there's love in the room. You can see it by the way people are interacting or whatever and how they respond to you. So Hawkins has a couple of stories. And he experiences higher states of consciousness most of his life. And he said he was coming around to the scene of a car accident and he felt the energy of his heart come out of his heart. Literally, he was the channel. He felt this like indescribable love and grace and healing energy come out of his heart, go up the road that he didn't know was there until he got to it, to a car accident. And he saw how the energy of love and healing was there for that car accident. So 13 years ago, 2003, I had a massive spiritual awakening. This is how I got into all this. I couldn't manage the pendulum swings from these very high states to these horrifically frightening encounters of non-physical frequencies. So I ended up, I call this the perfect storm. It was it's a pretty awesome story, actually. I was experiencing very high states of consciousness and experiences, and how you perceive at these levels is very different. And you can't believe that you are graced with this presence and this experience, and all you want to do is share it with the world. You have to share it with the world. You cannot hog it all to yourself. It's impossible. There's too much joy and love at these levels. So I would experience these very high levels, but then it would swing when I had this encounter with dark energies. Like, you don't want to know about it. Let me just put it that way. And I don't want to scare you thinking it's going to come to you, because it's not. Forget that, because I help to transcend that and send those away. That's part of my intention. So these shifts in consciousness were so taxing on my system that my friends had to take me to a hospital one night, and I was on an island 30 miles at sea in Nantucket. We're in the middle of a blizzard. My friends didn't know what to do with me. I couldn't help them because I was just like, I said, go ahead, bring me to the hospital, it's fine. And in Massachusetts, if you get brought to a hospital for what appears to be mental health issues, and I know that's what it appeared to be because I was aware of what they think, and I'm like, okay, it's okay. I'm not going to convince you otherwise, because this is not of this world what I'm experiencing. So when you get checked into an emergency room in Massachusetts for what appears to be mental health stuff, you have to go to a mental hospital for 3 days minimum. So I got shipped off of Nantucket the next day on a plane because they couldn't help me on Nantucket. They had no facilities for mental health. And I ended up in a mental health hospital. And it was a little scary because I know I didn't belong there. And even all the inmates, they're not inmates, but they would call themselves out. They were kind of funny. All the kids there, a lot of young kids there, all came up to me and said, Liz, what are you doing here? I'm like, well, don't worry. It's all good. I'm here for a good reason. Because I had an awareness. I'm like, I'm here for a reason, whatever that may be. And it was frightening that first night. And my parents were frightened when they came to get me. They're like, oh my God, Liz, you don't belong here. I'm like, no, but I have to be here for 3 days, so I'm going to be here. And I had some phenomenal experiences of higher states of consciousness. And every night, at the end of the day, everyone had to meet in this meeting room and talk about their day. And part of the deal in there is you're not supposed to touch anybody. You got to honor everyone's personal space because they could react to you. And I didn't know that. So I was like loving on everybody because I had love running through me, like so much love. I'm like love and compassion for everybody there. I just loved on everybody. And I couldn't help it because I had this high frequency running through me. So one night, I'm sitting there in the room. There's probably 30 people in this room. And I experienced grace and love run through everybody in the room. And I'm like, oh my God, it's huge. I didn't realize, I knew it had something to do with my awareness. I didn't know whether I was a channel or anything. I had a feeling I might be. But it was really more just an awareness of the presence. I'm like, holy moly, it was awesome. So I assume I was coming from my heart now that I understand this, okay? And then Dr. Hawkins had one other incident he shared where he was he had offices in New York City, and he was walking down the street one day, and there was a big fight going on, and he felt the love coming out of his heart to go up to that fight and break it up, essentially, so that everyone fell on the ground laughing. I'm like, cool. That's the power of the heart. Now, just because you don't perceive it in this way doesn't mean it isn't happening. And that's what I want to share with you when I do that meditation. It's huge. So you too can experience the heart by taking these simple steps, right? Do that exercise we taught you today. Super simple. A minute or two before you're going somewhere, you start your day. Focus on the heart. Pick something you love. You know, switch it up every day so you can go into loving something else if you can. Only when you're ready. Try to mix it up. Mix up what you love, because then you're starting to build love and appreciation for more things. You know, those horrific experiences I had really took me off track, and I had a hard time loving, except for babies and dogs. So that was extreme. I'm sure you guys can find more than that to love in your life. And then you got to pay attention. Every time I go into a networking group, for example, or I'm out in social situations, stuff just goes so well that I forget that I had done it. And then I think back, I had these unusual situations where I was working in a restaurant when I first moved to Boulder because I didn't know anybody and I just needed social interaction. So I worked in a restaurant and people were every day would come up and hug me. Guests would go to leave the restaurant, then they come up and they hug me Liz, that was so great. I'm like, oh, nice. I'm like, all right. Employees that I worked with said, Liz, I love working. All this stuff was showing up. And Dr. Hawkins will say, this is what you will expect to see as you move into these higher frequencies. And I didn't know that till I read his next book. So try to remember and appreciate that you did it and it worked, because you got to prove to yourself that it worked, right? Just remember these situations, because you get all caught up in having a good time. You forget how maybe that helped. And then journal your experience. Keep track of what's going on. And I want you to check out heartmath.org. This is where I found that initial simple heart meditation. They've been around for over 30 years, which is, wow, I didn't know. Okay. They've been doing this for a while, and their research and techniques are proven. And they train people to go out in the world to use this heart math. They certify people in heart math, which I should have done, but what I've done is so effective for me, I don't really need to do much more at the moment, okay? And I'm not paid to sell them whatsoever, just so you know. I'm just sharing powerful tools. And I couldn't find the exact number, but I came across the calibration of heart math in one of Hawkins' books, and it's over 400 on the map of consciousness. That's huge, powerful stuff, okay? This is the guy that founded heart math. And you can read this. His vision since the 1980s has been demonstrating to people that harnessing the intelligence of the heart could lead them away from the destructive cycles of stress and strife. So this guy is a pioneer. He's way ahead of his time. He's the global authority on reducing stress, building resilience, and optimizing personal effectiveness. And what was interesting is a lot of Fortune 500 companies use his techniques to transform the experience of a corporate environment. Hospitals, military, it's pretty awesome. So I want to share this with you guys today. These are the two books I read religiously. Reading these books alone will elevate your level of consciousness, and I think it's been tested that anywhere from 5 to 35 points on the map of consciousness, your awareness can be elevated by reading these books. However to that is they're not necessarily an easy read because they're of higher consciousness, so you might not be there yet. My suggestion is to pick it up, get started. If you can't get into it, put it down, pick it up again, and then just open to the page you need to read. I do this all the time. It works every time. I say, life, God, whatever, universe, what do you want me to know today? And inevitably, I open up to the page that I need to read now, and I feel the integration of the truth come into my being, into my vibration. The Truth versus Falsehood book is awesome because it's really like an encyclopedia of calibrations. So you can see, movies, books, politicians in the past, historic figures, so much awesome calibration in that Truth versus Falsehood. It's a great place to start, and you'll be surprised. And then the Power versus Force is really just helping you understand the map of consciousness and what it means. And this is Dr. David R. Hawkins. He's a sweetheart and a half. He passed about 5 years ago. He has tons of video on YouTube. I highly recommend you Google him and have a listen because he's funny. and he's brilliant, and he's a renowned spiritual leader. He's been interviewed by Oprah, who's Barbara Walters, he's known, but his topic is not, people don't quite get consciousness yet. So, okay, I think that's it, you guys. I'm going to stop sharing. We're all going to leave here 5 points higher on the map of consciousness today. Any questions? And I'm so sorry to keep you guys so late. We're not too bad. Let's see, we start 2 hours. Yeah, that's a little bit long. I'm usually done with these by 10:15. So, all right. Any questions, you guys? Or you can unmute everybody. Let me unmute everybody. There we go. Was that helpful or painful, or what was it?
It was awesome because it is truth.
Yeah. When you start to read about truth, your whole being shifts and everything kind of reorganizes itself. I can feel that going on with me when I read this stuff. Mm-hmm. So, all right, I don't want to keep you guys, so I'm going to stop the recording.